Alright, hey,
and
we're
then
back.
Signe dies. Oh.
I mean, she could explode mysteriously in the church all of a sudden, just like...
The whole church is gone.
She turned inside out and exploded.
Yeah, what is it? What was that movie? The Poltergeist, where the house collapses in on itself? Mm-hmm. The whole church just collapses in on itself. Like...
I thought it would just be Signe. She'd collapse in on herself. So, like, all of a sudden she implodes.
That sounds really painful.
It really does. It sounds awful. It's an awful way to go.
I hate when I implode.
Exactly. Anyway, so the three of you, minus a Signe, who's in the care of the father, who head to meet with the Duke. You head to the court, and the Duke is there, Commander Moloch is there, and of course Orn is there. All there, along with a few other officials, but you do notice that, as usual, the Elven Lord is absent. He usually is. A little more unusual, because he does try to show up, is the Dwarven Thane is not there. Normally...
Is Thatch there?
No, she would not be there.
Not the daughter. The
the father. You mean Vargas Moan, because Thatch takes her mother's name.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. She took a different name.
Yeah, she goes by her mother's name, maiden name. No, he most of the times, usually only one of the nobles / rich people is there. It's usually someone that's an attendant. Vargas tends not to be the one that goes Moan. So there is someone there that's representing them. Usually it's someone that is one of the few people that is known to connect to Mr. Bartleby. There are a few people that are known, like a couple of his butlers and a few of his maids are known to have regular contact with him, and only a few of the nobles.
Okay, so right when we enter, right before we enter, Zach's gonna stop, straighten his uniform, pull off his greatsword, mm-hmm. And hand it to one of the service people.
Yeah.
And then when he'll look back at the group and say, "You ready?"
Chance just looks at you and shrugs. He doesn't care.
All right. And
this is your game.
Zach will open it, try to do more of a grandest entrance, open with both doors. If it's double doored. And then when he sees the guard captain Malik there, mm-hmm. he's gonna as he's walking by, he'll just put his hand on pat his shoulder and look at it and smile and say Gavin and give him a nod. Mm-hmm. And then approach the Duke and give him a small bow and say, "Well, we have returned."
I can see, and alive. I am glad to see that you have returned, Zechariah.
Thank you. We've gathered a lot of information. Almost an overwhelming amount. Were you able to get the reports from Master Horn?
Some of them. It seemed unusual. You asked for the construction of something. That you have some kind of map.
We found a device, a large orb, that works as some kind of navigational map of some sort. It laid out that in all the realms, not just this one. We found out on our trips that we are connected in some kind of grid of realms. They're next to each other, but impossible to travel in between except for very specific pathways.
Are these the islands that we can see above us?
I don't know. I don't think so. That's why we were asking you to construct a room so that we could, more people of more arcane nature could analyze and study it to see if make more information off of it. I also was able to. I will provide you with the maps that we found later. They're very accurate, but less accurate than this device is. We also were able. I'm sorry.
No, this is excellent news. We might be able to use this to explore farther. Definitely.
Yes. But we also bring very bad news. The Dreadlord is active. and he is building some sort of army. He left behind a huge militia of goblins, and I'll just give him like a general breakdown of the size and the fortress and what we ran into. Luckily, we were able to take down one of his higher-ups, Finger Cutter, a goblin, very fierce goblin. We killed him. We were able to take him out and, I believe, destabilize his whole cell of operation.
This tracks with the information that we were able to finally glean from the goblin Glem.
Yes, about Glem. He decided to not inform us about their sheer numbers. There was a lot of them. Almost an overwhelming amount. Would I say they're pretty equal to the amount of people that we have here? If we're including the tent.
If you're including the tents, then yes. But you also... I'm afraid that our small goblin friend was panicky with information. I guess that's the greatest way to describe what he talked about. He did inform us that there was the fortification, yes, that you had then gone and scouted out. I've apologized that he was unable to give you proper numbers. But as far as I can tell, that entire area may be infested with remnants of these goblins still. More than just this organized group.
We actually didn't come face to face with any other goblins besides that group. We did see signs of another civilization that once lived there, but we weren't able to make contact with any of them. There was a small city that was in ruins at this point, but was to the point of civilization where they were with trading with another group of nomads. But we weren't able to find the nomads, even though we followed their maps. It's very eerie, though, because that area has some kind of creature in it that would be a serious threat to anything, to any of us. It was rather large. Chance, do you mind? You're the more the naturalist. Do you mind explaining this creature?
Is there anything in our realm that I could compare it to?
Not that you might be aware of is the only thing I could say. Because the closest thing in, like, size and stature would be... Well, actually, no, you might be
like
able
an elder dragon?
Elder dragon, something like that, yeah. That's probably...
The size, yeah. It's the size of about an elder dragon. But definitely not the intelligence of one. But it did seem to possibly have the ability to call storms.
Yeah.
Also, about the civilization that he was just talking about, I'll pull out one of the coins. This is the only thing that we really learned about it.
Yeah, someone will run up, grab it, and bring it to the Duke.
I'm just presenting it, and I figured...
Yeah. Huh. Interesting. I'll have someone looking into our records to see if we know anything about this.
Zach did recognize the language, it seemed.
Yes. Zach's gonna... I'm gonna do a deception check real quick.
Sure.
Yes, he's gonna say, yes, it's a language I learned in my youth. I don't exactly know what the name was. But more importantly, on our way, finding this creature, this beast, and on our way to see the nomads, we found a tower. It seems to be of some kind of arcane nature. Tower. I wish Lady Signe was available to be able to speak with you on this. She knew more than we did. But it seemed to be some kind of school for arcane. We gathered as many supplies Yes, it's a rather large tower. I'll give him the basic dimensions, and I'll point out how like it was untouched except for a couple of areas by the elements. I'll point out the courtroom, not the courtroom, but like the royal room that we were in, that we found the 2 dead bodies that we knew were divination and I think it was transportation or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll point out that. I'll point out the like headquarter. I'll break down what we ran into in the Wizard's Tower, and I will point out that we were able to gather plenty of supplies. That I'll look around. Is Tim or the other guy there?
Probably not. Tim is probably off in his own regions, and Mercedes rarely leaves his tower.
Mercedes, thank you.
Mercedes. All right. That either Master Tim or Arcades might find useful. And plenty of foci and books.
I would say
Doesn't matter.
drop it off with Master Mercedes. Sir Master Tim would obviously be able to access it with him, as the two of them have been better at working together as of late. Seems like my efforts to have the two of them work together for a more positive spin for the castle have not been throughout. For naught.
Yes. And there's something prominent I should note. Finger Cutter was staying in the keep the Finger Cutter was staying in. The Dreadlord was staying there before him. And we were able to gather a set of armor that he once wore. And as well as some strange heads that are being preserved for some reason. Master Ulfgar, I'll just direct him since he's more the dead guy. Weird shit.
There were 2 heads, and, well, they're rather talkative.
Talkative?
We also...
It seems that they're used for guidance, and they left. Well, the Dreadlord left.
So the Dreadlord might not have needed their guidance anymore?
Apparently.
I'll reach into the bag while he's saying this and pull out the journal. And I'll hold it
that's
out
true.
for a steward to come and grab it and bring it to me. We also found his journal. Master Ulfgar found this.
I'll have to...
And give him a chance to like look through it or whatever.
Yes,
if he
he'll
can.
just like page through it quickly and then he'll like hand it off to someone to hold on to. Like, we'll have to look more deeply into that and see if it can do anything to help us. Do you know where the Dreadlord is now?
No. We know that the passageway we used to get into this region, the cave, that it is still inhabited by these rather large lizard-type people. They fought and were murdered and almost massacred by the Dreadlord and his whatever small army that he brought with him. He came through, killing as he does, and we were able to help them in a small way and gain their trust. And I'll show them the necklace with the tooth.
Yeah.
And say we were able to open some kind of channel with them. They seem to be under ground dwellers. They don't seem to leave much outside of their cave, but they might be of some use to us in the future. Their physical abilities are above par.
Do you think they could be convinced to... Well, how many are there left, do you think?
It was only like 30, right? It wasn't a lot.
Like, maybe like 30 in decent shape adults, you'd say. Like 30 decent adults or something like that.
30 strong.
Yeah.
They on our way back, they were more candid and open with us. We saw some children, but there wasn't a lot. They were almost completely wiped out with his passing.
Do you think you could convince them, or we could send someone to convince them maybe to move into our town? As much as I would not enjoy using... You say they are... Are they... a larger, less intelligent creature, perhaps. But muscle like that might be useful in our future.
I don't know. They seem to have this stigma of going outside and being under the sky. only one of their kind ever left their cave, and she was the oracle, the was it witch doctor of some sort of their group.
There are catacombs beneath, and on top of that, if we do wish to send someone to talk to them, I would suggest a person who speaks Draconic and Red.
Red.
They seem to enjoy good fighters.
Yes, and bring a gift, some kind of animal fur beast. They enjoyed that when we gave it to them.
I might have someone look into that. That seems like it would be a good idea. I do not know if we could convince them, but it seems like you've opened a passage. As much as I fear bringing more here, it seems like how things are going, a little bit more muscle would be good. Especially if in our, as you would say, realm now, the Dread Lord has shown up. And they have a axe to grind. This might not be a bad idea.
Not to speak out of turn, but there is one thing that we learned recently that I think is more of a concern at the moment.
Yes. Please tell me.
The Kalida, the ones that seem to be more civilized, they seem to have a pact with some, was it Cyclops?
Yeah.
Cyclops.
Yeah, with some Cyclopses.
We suspected as much from the reports I've received, that they seem to be at an odd peace with each other at least.
They also were they had a meeting that I overheard, and the Kalida are trying to convince them to go against us.
That is...
If I remember correctly, Master Chance, if I remember correctly, they specifically said if we came to their bridge to the south, we would die.
The Cyclops did, yes. But the Kalida themselves were pushing for an attack.
Did the Cyclops seem open to this?
They don't seem to want to leave their lands, but they said that if they were truly needed, they would have to have a vote in their council.
Perhaps I should order the men that travel across the bridge then to avoid confrontations with the Cyclops if they see some of them. Better not to aggravate them more onto the side of the Kalida.
Have we tried speaking to the Cyclopses? Cyclopsi?
Similar to the Kalida, they seem to have no want or love for speaking to us.
Well, there's a few more things I'd like to point out. We brought back with us a master blacksmith with skills that are superb. He was
Where
using
did you find a troll blacksmith?
With the goblin.
With the goblins. He was working for the Dreadlord. Well, he was making items, and the Dreadlord was using them. He seems to be only interested in his craft, not anything else.
That is both disturbing, but it also could be of a use.
He is excellently skilled.
In old wars, back before a lot of the peace came to the land, capturing something like a mine or a farmland in order to use it against your enemies made sense. And in this case, perhaps capturing a skilled blacksmith that our enemy would have used, especially one that only wishes to use its craft. I will send some people to evaluate this blacksmith of yours. See if he would indeed be safe to leave around. But I will keep an open mind on this one, especially if you've had a chance to speak with him.
Well, we've traveled with him for a number of weeks now, and he seems to be an amenable sort. He's only interested in his craft, like I said before. If we give him a place to work, if we give him the resources, he will put out materials that far exceed anything I've seen. His previous materials, and I'll pull out the mithril shield I think he said he made. Is that him that made that? The mithril shield we found?
I think so. I think, yes, the mithril shield he made. Yeah.
I'll pull out the mithril shield, and then I'll hand it to his son. Even though I know that the Duke's not a fighter. It doesn't realize. I'll pull it out and say, this is what he made from rubbish, from scrap. If we give him good materials, if we open channels with the dwarves, and we get the best supplies to him, he will equip our soldiers with far superior weapons than we've ever had before.
The Duke will take a look at it. He will actually, like, strap it onto his arm, and then, like...
It's probably light enough for him to use.
No, the Duke seems actually skilled at using it. What you've never noticed is that the Duke actually, like, seems to be skilled at this. You never have seen him lift a weapon or anything, but he seems like he knows what he's doing.
I challenge him to a fight.
Mm-hmm.
No, but yeah, I'll point that out, and I'll say, Duke, if you don't mind me speaking plainly, he could be the turning point in many of these our future battles.
It's true.
Yes.
All right. Is there anything else then to report right now?
Alright, wait. Let me think about this, guys. Let's think about this before we walk away. Alright, we told them about the armor.
Mm-hmm.
We told them about the troll. We told them about the goblins, finger cutter, and destabilizing their, like, regime.
Mm-hmm.
We told them about the lizard folk. We told them about the Cyclops and the Khalida. Is there anything else we need to say? Oh, and the globe. We told them about the orb.
Yeah. And the heads.
And the heads. And that we have, like, all the paperwork and the maps that we'll provide to them later.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else we want to say before we exit? I purposely am not saying anything about the uncut emeralds. Yeah, I'm not saying anything about it.
Yeah, I wasn't going to either.
Yeah. Okay, so at the end I'll say, Duke, if I may ask a favor.
Please. Go ahead.
Lady Signe came under some kind of distress. Something is off with her. I'd like her to be taken care of in best way possible. I'd like her to be under protection until she's able to come back to a healthy state of mind.
Okay. That is something I can agree to. But for now, it seems like you've had a difficult journey. It is very disheartening that the Dreadlord not only survived, but found itself to a realm connected to our own, and found found their way into our realm, with its forces. I'm glad that you have also found some semblance of allies. At least maybe ones we could use. Maybe there will be greater allies now. It gives me some semblance of hope. With the dangers that have been growing, especially the dangers of the Khalida, I worry more and more about them. These heads. Can you bring them to the Father? If there's such a way to speak to them, perhaps he can, with some help of Commander Malik, inquire some information.
I'd like to Ulfgar. Ulfgar?
Sorry. I'm alive. What's up?
The heads. Can you bring them to the Father? Can you deliver them? You had them.
I could.
Excellent. Please do. As for your sphere, the specifications that you've given us, we figure it should be about a week before the chamber you seek is complete. Even then, study of this orb and the magics that it seems to hold within it may take some time. It seems that I would like for you to rest and recover yourselves. But there are some things that I know you might help me with now. I have a mission in mind for you. Something a little bit more dangerous. But it can wait for a short period of time. As long as things remain the way they are. Things change, I will let you know as soon as possible. But it seems that there are two things going on that you must get yourselves involved in. Two things that have come to my attention as of recent. Our friends, the dwarfs, and the good Thane himself. It seems that their plans, Thane Rockhammer, their plans to move into the territory that Nokrin and the previous assembly of teams to discovered are about ready. I would like that when they do leave, you accompany them. It will be a good show of faith on our end, especially because I cannot stop them. It would not be worth the manpower to force it. But if they can establish proper mines, get more metal, maybe something even unusual, and more rock, more stone, it might actually be helpful. It has been weighing on my mind, this move, for some time. If I cannot stop them, I must embrace it and use it instead. And that is where you will come in, allowing us to use it. The other thing is, recently, and I hope the message has gotten to you, Sir Bartleby has informed me that he needs help of yours. He had taken some kind of expedition as of late to the south, the swamplands. Seems it did not go successful. Seems he is planning a second one. And wishes for your help. I would check in with him, see what he wants, and how long you have to take care of it.
What do you believe is more urgent?
The dwarfs will probably be leaving in shorter amount of time. But I would at least let Sir Bartleby know that you are going to be doing that first. And then assist him.
I understand. I just did not want to approach with... I wanted to approach with as much information as possible. I do not wish to make promises that I cannot keep.
The last thing is you should check in with Mercedes. Since he is studying a lot of things about the nature of this land, he will want to know about this map and probably be at the forefront of studying it.
Sadly, I wish I could help with that. I mean, I will try my best. But Lady Signe is the most important.
And perhaps we should wait till her recovery for you to go to Mercedes. It will take some time to construct finish the construction of the dome that you ordered.
I don't wish to rude, my lord, but I stress that we rush this. This map is very valuable.
I understand.
Very, very valuable.
But we only have a limited supply of the material you need. It's another reason that perhaps getting the dwarfs into their position would be better. We would have more access to better stone.
Understood.
We are doing the best we can.
So I will, if you don't mind, if you send a runner to my estate, or where I'm staying, I will provide you with all the documentations that I told you about. If you don't mind, I'll have you leave.
Yes.
I did have one last question before we
You're so rude! I already asked to leave! No! Yeah, no.
I know.
Zach will stop mid-bow and be like...
Was there any particular reason for the change at the gate? You seem to have doubled our defenses.
Yes.
Good question.
It seems that, as of late, the attacks by the Kalida on our walls have changed a little bit. It seems less likely that they're just throwing themselves against it, and more that they are, I would say, probing and testing us. That's why we're trying to make a show of the greatest strength across the walls. Keep up at least an appearance that we are a threat. Even if our numbers aren't up to preparation. Fortunately, things have been going well over the past few months, and as you mentioned, Red, who was a good person to send to meet with these reptilians, he has done well to train a group of new recruits, which has helped us greatly.
Yes, I've seen his work. He's very...
He is extreme, but those that go through his training find themselves in a good position for battle.
Yes. So I just go to bow again, but looking hesitantly at the rest of my group who don't know manners.
I'll give a small bow.
I mean, it's not like a, hey, my lord. You know, it's, it's just a respectful bow of the head.
Yeah.
And, turned around, and I'll walk by Gavin again, and I'll tell him tomorrow night, stop by if I'm still in town. We'll have a drink. And then I'll exit and grab my sword.
Okay.
Following out.
Yep. Alright. It's a few minutes early, but this might be a pretty good place to stop here before you move on to anything else. With, meeting with the dwarfs, and having a quick meeting with Mr. Barnaby.
Poor Mads! Oh my god, dude, Mads! Do what she needs to do, man!
I have no idea what she wants me to do. She hasn't let me know.
Yeah, I should have. It's okay. It'll happen next time, for sure.
Yeah. If she doesn't let me know, I can't set it up, and she hasn't let...
Yeah.
I was hoping that either, you guys would trigger it, or she would just, somehow, stumble across it.
I keep telling her, we don't know what's going on. We try, we fail. Every time
I know,
I
only know a little bit from her backstory and stuff about what's going on, so, I mean, it's like...
We need to get to one specific spot, and then I fly.
See, that's why I'm not sure what spot she wants us to get to, and it doesn't help me. But, no. So next time...
So, just for brevity, we can do this really quick. We're gonna give back certain items because we brought them to help with the thing, right?
Yeah.
So the books, the books, the crate of alchemist items.
Yeah.
All the books, because we have a ton of different books.
Yeah.
The rare books we'll give to Marcades. I'll send it to Marcades. But the standard books, I'll send it to the Duke for him to decide how to.
He can probably, what he could do with them is they could now, with those, because they really before, unless someone was self-taught at this point in time, they really weren't able to train any, spellcasters per se, unless they, because Mercedes doesn't have a lot of time, neither does Tim. They're usually working a lot of stuff. They can give a little bit of time here and there, and there are other wizards in town and spellcasters, just not at a huge number that a lot of them might not even be good at teaching. So this is a good way that you can, have books.
It adds to the library.
Yeah. Have a library that people can study from and self-teach in a way that actually works.
Yeah. So the construct books will go to him, to the Duke. All the arcane books that we gathered, because we gathered a bunch of different ones, will go to the Duke, and all the magical foci will go to the Duke.
Okay.
The alchemist supplies, I don't know where they would go.
You could probably, if you wanted to, you could give them to Janan Hall. She runs the shop that she makes most of the alchemical stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
What she would do is
I'll give it to her because it's a big crate.
Yeah.
Of stuff.
She would probably just give you some money for it or something, or if you wanted, she could give you certain things. Like she can make healing potions too, so she'd give you some healing potions if you want for trade for it.
That'd be a good idea.
Yeah.
For the crates, she could probably give you a dozen just basic healing potions. We'll say
a dozen.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
Alright, so that means that puts us up to 23.
Yeah. They're good in an emergency.
We need to use those a little bit.
I mean, normally speaking, you're pretty...
We have Sydney. Sydney's been really good at keeping us alive, guys.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But if she ever is down or in a state like this and we need healing...
Yeah. The set of bagpipes, was that the one that we decided was a magical item?
Yes. Yes,
No, they're
magical.
not bagpipes. They're just pipes.
Pipes. They're pipes. They're not bagpipes. I messed up.
Someone wrote bagpipes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I messed up. I forgot
Set
to change
of
it.
pipes. Okay.
They are
So
magical,
that's the
though.
magical sort.
Uh,
Unless anyone wants any specific weaponry, I would donate it to like the military.
Sure. Okay.
So like the mithril shield. Does anyone want a shield?
Can't really use it.
Okay. You have the long sword or the short sword?
Short sword.
Okay. And so
Because the long
they're gonna
sword
get
wouldn't use
a
useless
shield, a mithril shield, a +1 long sword, a +1 great sword, tons of spears because we found that room when we first went into the tower that had all the weaponry. So there's that we're gonna just donate to the military so they have more weaponry. And I think that's it.
Mhm.
So we can get that knocked out so we don't have to sit there and go to every person. I bring forth gifts.
Gifts or gifts?
Gifts. So it's like, and then, and then we have a rack of fine wine that I'm keeping onto because Sydney really wanted it. So
I also have a bottle of wine in my inventory.
you would have been able to identify by now that if the pipes are pipes of the sewers.
You mentioned, you did say
we
that.
we knew what they
Yeah,
were.
yeah.
Pipes of the sewer.
Yeah.
I was thinking bagpipes. I was like, I don't know where we got those.
The
I
bagpipes
messed
of the
up.
sewer would have been wonderful, and I probably should have done that.
That would be awesome, actually.
The bagpipes of the sewer.
Well, pipes makes more sense, isn't it, Peter Piper?
Yeah, it's supposed to be like,
but
you know,
bagpipes in
yeah.
the sewer would be awesome just because it's scaring the rats out.
So yeah, okay.
Okay.
That's
And
it.
if you guys have any more details, we can just talk off stream about them because that's the majority of things. But we'll save the short meeting because you're technically not going to go help him out to this next episode with William Bartleby, and we'll deal with the assistance of the dwarves next week. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's why I'm keeping those uncut emeralds. I'm gonna make good relations with them, the dwarves. And then they're having good relations with me, and it makes my position in court more valuable.
Stop having relations and positions with the dwarves.
Oh no!
I mean, hey.
no, relations everywhere. You're just relating.
Hey, you were offered to have a relation with a dwarf, and you turned it down.
Why are you bringing that up?
I mean, you never know, and you never know. You could have come from a kingdom that polygamy was legal. You never asked. I never determined it.
But yeah.
Chance is just like, oh crap. I mean, Zach. God damn it! I got Zach.
Yeah,
I mean, I do need to rebuild the house Anders. I'm the only one left. So.
Yep.
I mean,
Anyway,
He has a harem now of dwarves.
Alright.
Anyway,
He just doesn't realize they're not all female.
I mean, they do all have beards.
oh, it's braided. How you doing?
you just never asked where the beard was either.
Oh. So that's what we're gonna end on tonight. Hi,
Dwarven beards. Hi.
I'm the funny one. You can find me here on Wednesday night or Thursday nights, and that's it.
You're just like running away. I like it.
We're all here.
Yeah. Tim.
Nah.
Joe.
See everyone Saturday.
Yes. See you all Saturday. We got a guest this week. I'll throw out the formal announcement of the guest tomorrow. It'll be wonderful, all that stuff. So, yeah. But for myself, Dan Snyder of Dracovin, you find me fairly daily, normal schedule. It's been a little less daily lately, just because there's been a lot more business with the family and stuff that I've been having to take care of. Just a little bit busier with that end.
You gotta take care of the family.
I know. Summer will probably open that up and I can get back to a normal schedule. Because, you know, child in kindergarten will be graduated from that. But I will try to stream something tomorrow as long as my schedule allows it. And then Saturday discussing tabletop. Sunday for Sundays at tabletop for playing some tabletop games. And then next week we should be back to playing Legacies of Kain and More Madness, where they will deal with some things as we're finishing up here the back end of Season 2. It's so exciting.
Is that Season 3? Or 2.5? Or...
This, God, it is like 2.5, technically. It's technically 2.5, but we'll be done 2.5 into 3, you know?
So I just looked at your stream because I wanted to check to see if the chat was busy. That 13 you rolled, was that to see if they were going to catch me lying?
Perhaps that was for someone to catch you lying. They said they perhaps detected you were not telling the truth and said nothing.
Yeah. Sorry.
Anyway. Bye, folks.
I didn't know that was a big secret.
Bye.
Bye.